Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. Part 2 of the workbook, section 7, I think. Section 7, What is the Holy Spirit? Lesson 282, I will not be afraid of love today. If I could realize but this today, salvation would be reached for all the world. This the decision not to be insane and to accept myself as God Himself, my Father and my Source, created me. This the determination not to be asleep in dreams of death, while truth remains forever living in the joy of life. And this the choice to recognize the Self whom God created as the Son He loves, and who remains my one reality. Father, your name is love, and so is mine. Such is the truth. And can the truth be changed by merely giving it another name? The name of fear is simply a mistake. And we're going to pause here and read footnote 91. This implies that we have so identified with fear that we have in essence given ourselves the name of fear. The truth remains, however, I'm sorry, my dog is in my face, that our real name is love. Let me not be afraid of truth today. And now I will read Robert Perry and Alan Watson's commentary on this lesson. This is the practice suggestion by Robert Perry. Lesson 282 says in essence that our true name is love, as is God's. We have given ourselves the name of fear, but this is simply a mistake. We have not become fear. We are still love. First, sign your name as you usually do on the line below, or grab an extra piece of paper for this and date it. Look at your signature and try to get in touch with your sense of whose name that is. What concept of that person are you holding as you sign the signature? Is it not a separate person, a person with a particular history and a special station or place in the world with special attributes? Isn't this self trying to make its way through a perilous world? Isn't that why you sign your name to things, to protect yourself from something? Or to procure some needed thing for this endangered self? If, for instance, you sign a legal document, you are often afraid of what it may bring into your life, even while you are hoping it will protect you in other ways. In short, isn't the identity signified by your name filled with fear? What else would a separate self, trying to make its way through a perilous world, be filled with? Therefore, sign your name again, and this time sign it simply as fear. Once you sign it, try to see this signature and the first one is the same. Look back and forth between the first and second signatures and try to blend them into one. Try to realize that when you sign your name in everyday life, you are signing fear. You are saying this self who is separate, vulnerable, and beset by the dangers of a perilous world. Regardless of the specific words you write, the content of what you are writing is fear. Now sign your name one more time. This time sign it as love. As you sign it, try to really mean it. Don't think of it as a given name like joy, which doesn't mean much. Think of it as a statement that you are really love. Love is your nature. You are not a being who can love at times and hate at other times, whose love is partial, selective, and intermittent. You are love. Love is your nature. You are a segment of love itself. In your true nature, you are incapable of any anger, any hatred, even any neutrality. Being love, all you can do is love. Realize that this is not an aspiration of what you want to be. This is who you are now, beneath all appearances. You are love, a segment of God's love, merely dreaming that you are a separate being filled with fear. You are love masquerading as something else. Look at this final signature of love and try to identify with it. You are love. Think to yourself, that's me, that's who I am. Does this make you see yourself differently? What feelings does it evoke? Now we'll move on to the commentary by Alan Watson. Here is another of the dozens of statements which the Course says, if accepted without reservation, can constitute the entirety of salvation. If I could realize but this today, salvation would be reached for all the world. A few of the others that fall into this category are, I am as God created me. Ideas leave not their source. There is no world. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. And forgive the world and you will understand that everything that God created cannot have an end, and nothing He did not create is real. How often do I realize that I am afraid of love? We are afraid of love far more frequently than we realize. Ken Wapnick has used a variation of this thought as a suggested mental response. Whenever we notice our egos acting up, I must be afraid of love again. There is a sense in which we could say that the ego is the fear of love. It is a mental stance that rejects love as our source, that rejects love as ourself, and that refuses to recognize love in everyone and everything around us. When we look at it this way, it begins to be more understandable that if we could simply realize this one thing, not to be afraid of love, the salvation of the world would be accomplished. Fear of love is insane on the face of it. Of all the things we might be reasonably afraid of, love is not one of them. A famous old-time Christian evangelist, Charles Grandison Finney, famous in the 1800s, once wrote that love is the eternal will to all goodness. To be afraid of that which eternally wills only our good is truly insane. So to accept today's idea is the decision not to be insane. Fear of love is a fear of our own self, which is love. Therefore, to realize today's idea is to accept myself as God myself, my Father, and my Source created me. We are indeed afraid to recognize ourselves as love. It seems a very dangerous thing to do to our egos. Fear of love is to fall asleep and dream of death, because in rejecting love we are rejecting that which guards us, protects us, and brings us joy. In fearing love we are imagining ourselves to be something other than loving, or in other words, evil and sinful. In such a picture of ourselves, we imagine we deserve death. To forget what we are and to believe we are something else, the mind must fall asleep. Therefore, to realize today's idea is a determination not to be asleep in dreams of death. To will not to be afraid of love is a choice to recognize myself, because myself is love. No matter what names we may have called ourselves in our madness, names cannot change what we are in truth. To choose not to fear love is to remember this. What we have done in calling ourselves unloving is not a sin. The name of fear is simply a mistake. Let me not be afraid of truth today. And if you'll please close your eyes, I'll lead us in the meditation for today. Please excuse the loudness of my dogs in the background. I will not be afraid of love today. Father, your name is love, and so is mine. Such is the truth, and can the truth be changed by merely giving it another name? The name of fear is simply a mistake. Let me not be afraid of truth today. So much for joining with me in that meditation. We will now read a section of What is the Holy Spirit and the commentary by Alan Watson. We are on the first paragraph, sentence 3. Across the bridge that he provides are dreams all carried to the truth to be dispelled before the light of knowledge. There are sights and sounds forever laid, and where they were perceived before, forgiveness has made possible perception's tranquil end. What is the Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit is the mediator or bridge between illusion and truth, dreams and reality, perception and knowledge. He becomes the means by which we can carry all of our dreams to the truth, to be dispelled before the light of knowledge. His purpose within our minds is to effect this transformation of our mistaken perception into true perception. Our only task is to bring him everything we do not want so that he can dispel it. The course refers to its curriculum as an organized, well-structured, and carefully planned program aimed at learning how to offer the Holy Spirit everything you do not want. He knows what to do with it. You do not understand how to use what he knows. Whatever is given him that is not of God is gone. Across the bridge in the light of knowledge, sights and sounds are forever laid aside. Sights and sounds represent the whole realm of perception. We bring our perceptions to the Holy Spirit to be cleansed and purified, and finally removed forever. The Holy Spirit's purpose is to perform this task. He is the mediator between perception and knowledge. Without this link with God, perception would have replaced knowledge forever in your mind. With this link with God, perception will become so changed and purified that it will lead to knowledge. This transformation of perception is identical to forgiveness. It is forgiveness that has made possible perception's tranquil end. Forgiveness, salvation, atonement, true perception, all are one. Perception, as managed by the ego, always sees sin and manifests in judgment and attack. Perception, as managed by the Holy Spirit, always sees the face of Christ and manifests in love and joining. The ego's perception sees differences. The Holy Spirit's perception sees sameness and identity. This is the shift that true perception brings. What was projected out is seen within, and there forgiveness lets it disappear. The Holy Spirit is, therefore, central to the process of forgiveness. He is the means by which the transformation of perception from false to true is possible, and without him, we would forever be lost in our dream of judgment. With him, we can learn to forgive. Thank you so much for joining with me in this lesson of 282. I will not be afraid of love today. I love you. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.